Welcome, Internet. Welcome to the range on a cold, windy, rainy day, and I'm a dum-dum trying to film with no waterproof cameras comparing the Recoil Arms 2311 to the Staccato P. Since I can't put stuff on paper because the rain has been coming and going and I've been hiding from it in my car with my electronics, we're not going to use paper, so it's going to be all steel today. At the same time, let's just talk about how the ergonomics of the guns are performing. Now, the Recoil Arms is sort of a reinvented look at the 2011 style platform. It's got molded in thumb ledges for the shooter on either side of the gun, built into the polymer grip. It is a 5-inch gun and not a 4.5-inch gun, which seems to be kind of the creed that the 2011 builders are going with. It has very large paddle safeties. It has a totally modular frame finishing with an aluminum magwell. When you squeeze the gun, it feels more like a metal gun than does the Staccato. Now, there are some quirks about it. It doesn't have a barrel link. It's almost more like a HiPower, honestly. The slide comes to a taper right there at the end, which is pretty nice. The optics plate system, the co-witness irons don't quite work, but it doesn't have a grip safety, and it does come with extra iron sights that you can change out onto the gun for suppressor height sights. So a lot of cool stuff kind of going on there. The fit of the gun is not as tight. It's intentionally set up to be kind of like a service gun. I mean, it is not trying to be a gunsmith type gun. It is trying to be a service gun and definitely comes across that way. Now, jumping back over to Mr. Staccato with the kind of everything that the 2011 is kind of built around, it is the one to kind of compete with. It has a robust plate optics system that you have to buy at about 130 bucks a piece, kind of a pain in the butt, and you may have to buy a new fiber optic sight to co-witness with the irons depending on your choice in optic. It does have a functional grip safety. It has a large bull barrel, so there is no bushing, but there is a link on the barrel. It's a little bit more finicky to put back together, but not a whole lot. The triggers, I would say, are comparable. There is an aluminum trigger shoe on the 2311 where a polymer trigger shoe on the Staccato. The pull weights are similar in kind of the 4-ish pounds range, and the grips, I would say, the 2311 definitely feels more like a metal grip, whereas the Staccato, I mean, there's no getting around it. It's got a polymer grip. But what does all that translate into when you actually start shooting? Let's go find out. All right, we are at 9 yards to the closest plate, 10 yards to the back 2. We're gonna do 2 runs on the timer and see where we get. We're gonna start at kind of a simulated draw, since I didn't bring holsters because conditions are terrible. All right, we're gonna alternate. So we're gonna do 1 run with the 2311, then 1 run with the Staccato, and 1 run, and just kind of go back and forth. So we're at 9 yards. That was not good. Makeup shot on duffed on the first one. So that's a 425. Mr. Staccato, cold hands. I duffed on the last one, but I saw it immediately on the sight. That's a 369. All right, Mr. 2311 again. That's a 336. All right, got to be clean with the Staccato because it took a makeup shot. And I was. It's a 336, so close range hosing, they're about the same. Let's see what happens when we back up. All right, we'll start with Mr. Staccato this go round. It'd be help if I could find a magazine. All right, so 336 was our last go. That's a 379, so about 3/10 slower, a little bit more controlled. Mr. 2311, let's see how he does. That's a 455. I'm just more familiar with the 2011 grip because I compete with something that has a grip more similar to the 2011. So that's a little bit explainable there. All right, I had 1 makeup on that one, so that's a 428. My hands are turning into flippers because it's so cold and I'm jerking shots low. This is not great. I'm not making either of these guns look good. All right, backed up to 25-yard line. This is gonna separate the men from the boys, I imagine. Let's see what happens, Mr. Oracle. Pretty solid, very deliberate. 0 misses. So that's a 5.66 from Mr. Staccato with 1 miss. I'm able to get my grip quicker on the Staccato because the grip is more familiar to me, doing a lot of 2011 shooting. So the Oracle is paying a little bit of a penalty on the first shot. All right, had 1 makeup that time. That's a 5.76, so within a 1/10 of the Staccato so far, 1 makeup shot apiece. All right, let's bring it home, Staccato. Yep, that's a 5.12, no makeup shots. Those splits, the splits are about 0.6 of a second, so that makes sense. I'm running the guns at the same pace. The Staccato grip is more familiar to me, like it's much easier for me to get my index and get locked in on the gun. So I think I probably am paying, especially in a precision shooting type scenario, a little bit of a penalty with the 2311, which is less familiar to me. I've only got about 1,000 rounds, just north of that on this gun at this point. Let's see how the guns hold up with the high-speed camera shooting in recoil. Mr. Staccato is very even in recoil. It's a little more direct feeling, like there feels like there's more squish on the Oracle. The Oracle feels probably a little bit more stable, but I mean the dot tracking straight up and down based on that kind of narrower beaver tail, because the beaver tail is a little bit narrower across the back of the Staccato than is on the Oracle. The Oracle just feels, actually no, I think that has more to do with just the way the safeties are shaped. The safeties are a little bit more familiar with how that goes. But both guns are incredibly stable at speed. They both outpunch their weights because these are both middleweight guns. This one's lighter at about 30 ounces, whereas this one is into the 30 ounce plus range. Like I think it's 33 ounces or something. So this is a 5-inch gun. However, this is a 4.4-inch gun. So I like the more direct recoil impulse of the shorter slide guns. So that, like, I just like how they move better. But for a 5-inch gun, this is incredibly stable. I've got one more MAGA piece loaded up, so just one more impromptu test. I've got about a 10-inch circular plate down there at 25 yards. So we're gonna bring the timer back and see how quickly I can get off all 17 shots with each gun. And then we'll have the hit rate, so we'll be counting misses. So listen along as well. I guess because I grabbed the Staccato magazine first, we'll go Staccato first. We'll do the same thing with a fake draw. Oh, 1 miss right there at the end. So 1 miss in 878 with Mr. Staccato. Same thing, 1 miss on the Oracle arms, 918. So a little bit slower. I bet it's all in that first shot. But very similar results, a little bit of an edge to the Staccato. I think probably that shorter, quicker recoil impulse was allowing me to settle in a little bit faster. That's just more what I'm accustomed to. I shoot open guns is my main, gun that I compete with. So I like that faster recoil impulse. The recoil impulse is just a little bit slower feeling, which if you look at it at high speed, put them side by side, they're gonna look identical, but the perception of it actually matters and makes a difference. Both of the guns are really, really well squared away and, very premium pistols. I'm a big fan of both of them, so it's difficult to kind of crown a winner. I'll give a slight nod to the 2011 because I am more familiar with the 2011 grip. Like, it just feels more familiar to me, and that's what I've spent, you know, the past 3 years competing with. So that probably is going to get the nod, just barely over the Oracle. I think they're absolutely in the same class. The Oracle has a lot going for it. I need to put more time in to understand kind of how the platform works. You know, I've got probably, I don't know, 1,200-1,300 rounds through it at this point. So we're still kind of getting to know each other a little bit, but I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If you were faced with both of these guns, which way would you go? Sound off in the comments.